Big news today as the endlessly controlling sociopaths that run the British state have now demanded that tech firms have 3 months to stop children from seeing or sending explicit content. And this comes from the Prime Minister himself. Now, the most cynical among you, I'm probably the most cynical man here, but the most cynical among you will agree with me and think that this type of stuff has always been the job of parents. When I was 10, we used to go and play armies down the woods, and occasionally we'd find a casually discarded bag full of grumble mags because people were too embarrassed to put them in the bin and then, look out the window while they're having a cup of tea with a dressing gown on and see 5 bin men huddled on the front of your drive laughing at the extensive collection of kinky magazines that you'd had stashed under your bed. So we used to find them down the woods, but we were not too concerned about such things because our parents are trusted to raise us in every aspect of our childhood. There's all sorts of things that can go wrong. A child can run into traffic. A child can choke on a chicken leg. A child can fall off a wall and break their neck. Do we ban cars, chickens and walls? No. But, and this is the best bit of their evil globalist schemes, the general public are very, very stupid. And if you frighten them, they'll let you do anything. That's why we got the Patriot Act. That's why we tolerated a lockdown, probably the most in your face and brazenly illegal destruction of your personal liberties at the hands of the state. And that's why lots of people are going to support this absolute stupidity. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be one of my easiest videos to argue the point because all the evidence is right there, isn't it? The British state, the same government that turned a blind eye to the industrial scale torture, abuse, and occasionally murder of at least tens of thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands of children, the same people that allowed that to happen and still allow massive gangs of hairy-arsed, unvetted foreign men to move into the UK and all of Europe every week, those people are telling you all the spying, all the attacks on your individual liberty, the total death of privacy, they're doing it all for the children. Of course they are, yeah. Weren't really worried about the children when they were getting piped above kebab shops by foreign kiddie fiddlers. But this is definitely all about the children, so you should trust them. Right, I'm sure you've all seen it. It's the big story of the day. Live coverage is closed now because I'm 8 hours behind you lot. But the PM himself stood up somehow with a straight face and said, all the tech firms have got to do it. We've got to look after the children. He also made an address at London Tech Week about the government's plans for tech reforms, and the Home Office has released its plans. Here's an overview of what the government wants. Yeah, anything the government wants is bad news for you. Have you seen the state of the government? We all watched David Lammy's brain melting on national television yesterday. Are these the people you want to give more power and not less? The companies have already been told they have 3 months to act or face new laws. Honestly, if I was the CEOs of all these companies, it's a good job that it's not people like me, because I'm not obsessed with money. If I was one of these tech companies, I'd just say, all right, see you later. I'd encourage all of my fellow tech moguls, every one of them, to just abandon the United Kingdom. Pull the lot out. I'd just say, I'm not doing it. All right, we'll just cut the UK out of our operations then. Pull every single employee, factory, bit of software, you name it. Just put the lot out of the UK. And if you got enough people to do it, we'd leave the UK like a pre-industrial era King Alfred style settlement in 923 AD. And you could just, if things got a little bit Middle Ages, maybe we'd be more likely to see an angry mob form up outside Parliament. And then I'd laugh my ass off watching them do the obvious to the people that infest that pestilential building. But that's what I'd do. I'd just pull the whole lot out and I'd leave yous to it. And I'd pray that was enough to see the angry mobs form outside Parliament and Downing Street. But this is what they're telling them. And of course, because they keep embarrassing me, like I said, I'm going to start affecting a fake French accent, calling myself Claude, and hoping nobody ever guesses I was unfortunate enough to hail from the UK. That's how embarrassing it's getting. Britain will, of course, become the first country in the world where it is impossible for children to take, share, or view naked pictures on their devices. Big tech companies like Apple and Google must activate built-in features or implement technical solutions to detect and block nude images. It's like something from a futuristic dystopia. 5 years ago, they wouldn't have even had the technology to do this, would they? What they're going to have to do is install a ton of software on everybody's phone, and then that software perpetually scans your device, and if it even thinks there's a nipple end on there, then I don't know what's it going to do. Delete it, activate the nanobots in your bloodstream, and then you'll go beep boop bap. Keir Starmer, best Prime Minister ever. I wouldn't put it past them at this point. I wouldn't put it past them. Don't worry though, those over 18 will still be able to, have a phone that belongs to them, but it's got the software on it. And if it can spot a nipple from outer space, you best believe the Home Office is looking at every single thing you do on your phone. The government said if the companies do not act within 3 months, they'll bring forward legislation to force them to activate blocking technology, and then they'll fine companies, and they've also said nothing is off the table. And that the government's exploring criminal liability for tech bosses who fail to comply. So they're going to lock them all up, apparently. They're going to lock up a load of American tech moguls. Of course they are. It's unbelievable, completely preposterous. Al Shabzi's chirped up as well. Here she is. I make no apologies for doing the right thing to protect. You let them get away with it. Starmer was the head of the CPS. We've been through this, Shabzi. We've done it before. Nazir Afzal, he dropped the ball and told us all, didn't he? You do remember that, don't you? This went out live on the BBC. If you live under a rock and you haven't heard it, allow me.
Think about it. You may not know this, but back in 2008, the Home Office sent a circular to all police forces in the country saying, as far as these young girls who are being exploited in towns and cities, we believe that they've made an informed choice about their sexual behaviour, and therefore it's not for you police officers to get involved in. If that's the landscape coming from the top down in 2008, rest assured all agencies are going to listen to it.
There you go. There you go. This was when Starmer was the head of the CPS. So, when Shabzi and the androgynous android tell you that this is all about the children, you know for a fact that it definitely isn't, because the mechanisms of the British state, while some of these people were at the very top of the tree, they told the police and they told the lawyers and they told the councillors and the local MPs and they told all of them, do not do anything about it if you see an 11-year-old being forced to gobble off a Pakistani in a church car park. That's what they told them. So that's what they did. That's what tens of thousands of Puma trackies and Bangladeshis and anybody else who rocked up in the UK uninvited in the last 40 years, that's what they did with reckless abandon. With wild gusto did they plough their way through hundreds of thousands of English children while the government and the coppers helped them do it. And now they're telling you, oh, well, we just have to rewrite the rule book, introduce insane authoritarian legislation so we can spy on you all the time and look at every single thing on your phone, and we're going to lock up American CEOs if they don't do it, because obviously they're acting like Stalin. And it's all for the children. The children that they still, to this day, to this minute, allow to get rogered more than a copper's radio by hairy, scary men. And I'll just check my watch. Oh yeah, and another 20 have just landed on a beach in Dover. So you couldn't make this stuff up. It's completely insane. If you believe any of it and you support any of it, you're completely mental. I don't know what else to tell you. The evidence is right there. Nazir Afzal is a Labour activist and a lifelong Labour Party supporter. He just was daft enough to say it out loud. So there you go. I think I'm done, and I don't need to add anything else, do I? There are still thousands of kids getting banged like Stevie Wonder's Big Toe by foreign men. The government know about it. Shabana helps them. Starmer helps them. They're all in on it, but they need to put software on your phone so they can spy on you 24/7 because it's good for your kids. Yeah. Forgive me for being cynical if I think people like this have zero interest in protecting children. But that's just my opinion. If you're a complete mental case and you're watching this on a smuggled smartphone in your padded cell in the loony bin, please, try and free one hand and type a response for me down there, and I'll read it and laugh my ass off. All right, I'll leave you to get back to your mashed banana, and I'll see the rest of you tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.